Hello everyone, I'm Leslie Cornwell, Certified Nurse Midwife with Empowering Midwifery Education. This next section has to do with common mistakes that can happen during marketing. A legal disclaimer we put at the beginning of all of our presentations. This information is for educational use only, not intended to substitute for professional, legal, or clinical advice. We strive to keep our information as accurate and timely as possible, but make no promises and guarantees it works for your unique local situation. The course objectives, the student will be able to verbalize what are the common mistakes that happen when marketing your midwifery practice. Students will be able to talk about the key components of making a marketing strategy and things you can do to help improve the success. This topic is really important because I see so many midwives not investing in marketing, not considering marketing. They just think they'll open their doors and there's such a demand in the area that their practice will flourish. That is more happening in post-COVID era than before, but you want your ideal clients coming to you. You don't want to be spending your precious money somewhere that's being wasted. You don't want to be doing marketing campaigns in the incorrect direction, and you're going to lose your branding, your value, your reputation. Your whole point of marketing is to attract your ideal client to you with the lowest use of finances and time possible. And so I see too many times midwives doing things the hard way, skipping the key important parts, not doing any marketing at all. And so we're going to go over those different steps that commonly. So there's common mistakes with marketing that we're going to go over. Just the lack of research, lack of digging into what your community wants. You are an experienced midwife. You think you know what the community wants, but what is the average consumer, the person that may not know about midwives, the person that's searching for a midwife? What are they searching for? How are they searching? How are they finding you, if they're finding you? Because it's very different being on the other side of things, that you have a product, you have a service, you think you put a website up, you think you have a clinic address, and people will just find you, and that may or may not necessarily happen. You really got to take some time doing some research, doing some surveys, touching base with the community, going to key places that your ideal clients go to, and getting your stuff out there and talking to them, seeing what their needs are, seeing what makes the most sense for opening your practice, for expanding your practice, for what service lines you're going to offer and how you're going to present. So you need to take a snapshot of the public. You need to figure out what are places that are really popular and places that are not popular. What is the competition doing? What is someone you can collaborate with? Spend some time digging into these local businesses, chiropractors, naturopaths, doulas, lactation consultants, childbirth educators, independent medical practices, other midwifery practices. Talk to them, see where their challenges are, learn from them, learn how they've made their practice successful, things they wish somebody would have told them. How do they get their ideal clients? How are you going to be portrayed in the community when you're new, and what can you do about that reputation and getting things branded faster? You can offer different packages, proposals. What may work in one community may not work in another community. Some places you may have to be exclusively in network with insurances. Some may just be cash and super simple, and you don't have to deal with insurance companies. So you really have to dig into what is your clientele, your community, what are they willing to pay, what do they expect you to include in their services. Maybe they want home visits, maybe they don't want home visits, maybe they want a home birth, they want a birth center, they want a hospital delivery, they only want women's health care, they only want XYZ services, they want breastfeeding support, they want you to do the newborn care, they don't want you to do the newborn care. You need to talk and have a conversation with potential clients and learn what is the norm to the area, and if you're going to be different, what is that branding campaign going to look like? This is another one I see. People don't really understand the difference between marketing and branding. Marketing is getting yourself out there. It's getting the awareness. It's getting the exposure. It's the specific things you're doing to get your name out there. Branding is more of a feeling and emotion. It's the aspect of what you create in time, whether organically or inorganically, where your clients create the branding for you with testimonials or customer complaints, or you are getting the emotions, the feelings. What does your logo compel people to do? What does your videos and your marketing materials give an essence of your company's mission and vision and what you're all about? You want to create momentum. You want to consistently doing things. Slow and steady truly wins the race with marketing. I have too many midwives. They'll be like, okay, I'm going to do a bunch with marketing for 3 months, and then they spend a bunch of money, and then they shift gears and jump into something, and they're jumping around and they're like, nothing works for me, nothing works for me, because they haven't given enough time to say, even if something is going to work, it takes quite a bit of time. If you implement a Facebook ad, if you implement new websites, if you implement a new service line, it takes time. And marketing is complex. You're going to have many different directions that clients are coming in. Until you have good quality measures to specifically ask patients, clients, how they found your practice, you're not going to really know exactly what worked, what didn't work. Did your referral program get you clients? Did your SEO optimization? Did your YouTube channel? Did you do a bunch of community outreach and get some flyers out to different businesses? How are people finding you? Is it word of mouth? Is it specific things you're doing? And then hone in on time. Too many people put a bunch of marketing out there, but they don't, one, give it enough time to see if it's actually working, and two, they don't actually do any quality follow-up to see which parts of their marketing campaigns are working and not working. So it's always better to do a couple things here and there, a little bit at a time, than you're saying, okay, I'm going to post on Twitter and Instagram every day, and then I'm to do it for 2 months. I'm going to post every day for 2 weeks and then nothing. So you've got to be consistent. You want to make sure you're not making mistakes. Check over everything you're posting. Have a consistent branding, color scheme, style, feel to it. Learn about what type of practice you want to be, what's within your budgets for marketing, how you're going to get your best bang for your buck. People assume when they hire a marketer, you're instantly going to get more clients, and that may or may not happen. You need to be able to find a marketer that understands your field, understands your unique clientele, and they understand the budgets you're working with, how to utilize it to the max capacity. And I think too many times midwives try to do the marketing themselves and they don't understand online marketing, and then they screw things up versus helping them. They just put a website up there, but they don't really understand the analytics and the backdrop that are really important with websites. So there's all these little pieces within your industry. You need to learn your niche market. You need to learn how to get referrals, repeat, loyal customers that are always going to brag about you as the best midwife in the world. And how do you do that? So you need to think about this unique selling position. You need to get a statement. You need to get an elevator speech. And too many midwives, when they're asked in the street or on their website and their branding, what is your practice about? What do you do for a living? What would your midwifery care be like? Too many midwives don't have a statement, a thing they've memorized that's that 30 to 60 seconds of what they're about, what's the benefits of their products and services that anybody could understand. Not going into high level, this is what a midwife is, this is the history. You want to have something short and condensed that people can easily repeat when they are talking to their family and friends. I hear it too many times that we understand the wording, but many times our consumers, our community are new to midwives, are new to some of this lingo, and you really need to have good target messaging, very simple. It can meet multiple audiences. You want to make sure you are not making mistakes, you're not having typos, you're having lingo, you're having wording that any educational level is going to be able to understand and be able to transfer to the difference between you and a doctor in a hospital. What is midwifery care? What does it look like? Sometimes we have the bad habit, I think as midwives this isn't as big of a deal, but we don't give credit to if there is that near miss situation, if there is a client that's unhappy, how do we fix that? How do we get them to return? It's easy to get repeat clients when they've had a happy birth, they've had a great delivery. It's those tough times where it was a traumatic experience, the birth didn't go how they wanted, they had to risk out, they transferred care. how do you continue to give them amazing care so that they will become a repeat client, and they will, because I stress over and over again, one unhappy customer is going to be worth 1,000 happy ones, because people that are unhappy complain. And if we don't spend the time trying to take really good care within our scope and our ability of those clients that didn't get the birth experiences that they wanted, doing some extra home visits, doing labor support in the hospital, any of those little extra things is going to help. So as you're starting your practice, it's a lot more expensive to get those new first-time mamas, the time you put into them, educating, to recruit them, versus as time goes on, I would like you to have a good chunk of your practice as repeat clients. They've had multiple babies with your practice, they're sending you your clients. But if you get to that rocky start at the beginning and you really don't take care of not just the gals that are having those amazing experiences, but the ones that just didn't get the birth they wanted, those are the ones you got to really work hard. And I think some midwives are good at it and some are not. That is part of your marketing campaigns. It is about safety and quality and having a good experience no matter what birth outcome happens. You want to be able to look at the barriers and the challenges. Is it a cost factor? Their insurance changed this time around. They now have risk factors and they're VBACing and they've got extra things to think about. You have to really see how can you support them, even if you're not the best midwife and it's not the best situation with your practice. How can you refer them to another place? How can you still get good exposure? Maybe they don't do their birth with you because they had a C-section. They're going to do a repeat C-section with a doctor, but you can keep them for well woman care. You can keep them for all other aspects. So don't just think of repeat clients as if they're done having babies, I can't serve them anymore. What other service lines can you implement in your practice so that you can have a long-term relationship with your families even after they're done having babies? So think about your potential customers' needs, not what you think they need. We spend very little time just going out and doing that analysis, and I can't stress that enough to you. Do and be a community liaison. Go to the local hair salon, go to spas, go to yoga, go to childbirth education courses, places, zoos, and places families hang out and where there's lots of young families and pregnant moms, and just sit and talk at the park. I mean, the list is endless. Just get immersed in your community. Facebook is great. There's a lot of groups out there. Read the threads, read the conversations, spend some time getting to know your community. Don't spend too much money. I mean, you could spend thousands and thousands of dollars every month if you don't really know what to put it towards. You can put it towards a marketer making your website, making blog posts for you, SEO optimization, Google ads, Facebook ads, all these social media platforms, all these apps, all these tools out there, and you can literally spend thousands and thousands of dollars. And are you going to get the return on your investment? So you want to be realistic with a home birth practice. A lot of women will have with their budgets, their midwives, $500 to $1,000 a month. If you're going to be a birth center, a larger scale practice, you probably want more like $1,500 to $2,000 a month. But you also want to think about, where is that money going? What am I putting it towards? Does it make the most sense? And is this marketer's price point make the most sense to get that value back into your practice? And it's a complicated process. It definitely is. So you want to make goals, you want to make objectives, you want to pivot easily, you want to do beta testing of a marketing campaign that are side by side but slightly different, and what are the responses you're getting by those two comparisons. Maybe you're behind on your marketing. Maybe you're like, oh, I was going to do a bunch of videos. I was going to get XYZ on the website, and now there's gaps and holes, and it just makes you look sloppy. You want to make sure you keep your marketing campaigns up. You want to make sure you launch your website on time. You don't want to be telling everybody about you, but you don't have business cards yet, and you don't have flyers. I stress so many midwives get excited about talking about they're going to serve the community, but they don't actually have any marketing campaigns set up yet. You want to have 3 to 6 months of just getting stuff out there on social media, really even before you open your practice, because it will set some pivoting springboard for you to grow off of. And really meet with a business consultant, a mentor, somebody in your community that's already doing what you want to do, and see what they're doing for their marketing. But don't waste any time. This is not something you want to delay. As soon as you know you're opening a birth center, as soon as you know you're opening a midwifery practice, hold your page name, hold your website link, confirm that that name you're picking is on a state level, and get some stuff out there. Get some gentle posts. Facebook Business Suite, you can just post for a lot of these social media platforms and get things going. Doesn't have to be expensive, but you got to have people that know what they're doing. I've seen some terrible stuff out there. The campaigns do you more hurt than they help you, and you want to make them consistent and put them out to the community in evenly fashion. The tracking, I can't stress enough how important it is to track your campaigns. If you're doing some social media posts, see what the engagement is, see what the likes are, see what the shares are, see what's getting out there more. People love videos, short clips, emotions, testimonials. Learn what is working for your practice and what's not, and then do more of whatever's working. So I don't think this is given credit enough. Few midwives market, and then even fewer midwives actually follow up with what they're doing to see if it works for them. This happens all the time. Midwives are like, I'm just going to target everybody. Anybody can be my client. Anybody I can give a better birth to. And you're spending way too much money on trying to get a ton of people versus what is your ideal client? Who do you want to serve? Who do you want to attract to you? And how do I specifically market to them? I see that over and over again. Midwives just want to get a bunch of stuff out there, and they don't really think about how it impacts who's attracted to you. I would rather you get 5 calls a day and 4 out of the 5 of them become clients versus you're getting 50 calls a day and now you're having to filter through them with questionnaires and phone intake and consultation services that'll probably not turn into clients in the end because of your price point, because of your service scope. Your time is too precious, and if you're not attracting the people to you because you're not putting in your marketing materials, your website, your branding, telling the community who you directly serve, what your services cost, how your practice is offering those services, and who you want to attract to you're going to just get everybody calling. And so this is really, really important because you will be having a ripple effect of risk and time management and filtering through extra potential clients versus your marketing campaigns are doing that for you. This is another common one. People put websites out and then there's broken links. They say, oh, I'm going to send them to this awesome resource, but then they don't follow up to see if that resource is still present 3-6 months later. And then you've got broken links, you've got errors, you've got problems in the backdrop of your website that people can't find you. If you think you want them to Google search certain words, you need to have it all over your website. You need to have your images linked. You need to have a resource tab. You need to have very key things. So if they're Googling you, you want to make sure you're actually being found. The more errors on your website, the more that it has something with your reputation of, if you're this sloppy on your website, how are you going to be taking care of me? So you want to test your funnels. You want to make sure if you're doing email campaigns, you're doing ad campaigns, that the links you're actually attaching are working. The forms you're actually attaching are downloading easily. The cart, if you're selling products, the payment systems, the devices, the EHR, if you want them to schedule on Calendly to see you for consults, make sure the link's actually working and that the platform is doing what it's supposed to do. So you really want to check things regularly. Don't just launch it and then leave it alone. You want to check everything over, check for mistakes, check for typos, click everything, make sure it's doing what you want it to do, and then keep an eye on it. So there's a lot of important things to think about with marketing strategies. And my high-level point to you is think about your mindset. Too many midwives think about, how am I going to serve people? What is my office going to look like? What supplies do I need to order? They rarely give much thought to, yes, I'll create a business card, I'll create a flyer and a website, but really short-term and long-term goals with the marketing. Who am I attracting? Why am I doing this marketing? What is the point of it? How much do I want to spend? Where do I want to eventually go with it? If you want to grow to a team, don't push everywhere your own name as a midwife. That's very difficult in the future to transition your practice from the name of you to the name of a team, because your clients are going to expect you, because that's the branding campaign you put out there for so long. So if you eventually want a team and you want midwives, even if you're starting solo, make sure you're doing heavy marketing of meet my team, talk about the birth assistant, talk about the office manager, the receptionist, and yourself, not just you as the midwife in front of everybody with the ad campaigns. You want to think of how you do things holistically, how you commit to goals, and you're going to schedule them, and you're going to not let things fall through the cracks. Some of the systems you have to real time put for social media. Some of the things you can schedule out. So you want to set goals. You want to keep to it. You want to figure out if it's going to be you doing it, if you're going to have somebody on your team doing it, but you want to be consistent. I can't stress that enough. And you want to see if things are actually working. So figure out the key components of what you want to do, the tools you want to use. Canva is awesome. You want to figure out what things work, what things don't work, how much do you want to spend initially, how much do you want to spend long term, what's going to be a revolving marketing budget, and stick to it and commit to it. When you start shriveling that marketing budget and saying getting enough clients, you don't realize the ripple wave it has in the future, that maybe right now you're getting great clients, but you can always improve. You can always filter out and get more narrowed down your ideal clients. So it's really important to always be marketing and having very specific processes in place that you're regularly implementing. So the details of that marketing campaign, once you have your goals, once you have that strategy in place, you're definitely looking at the competition, looking at what other people are doing, and making sure what you've implemented is still working in today's climate and environment, because things are always changing. So you want to think about public relations, you want to think about mobile app compatibility, referral systems. You want to look at every component of your potential way of getting clients to you faster, the best paying clients, the ones that make your heart sing. How do you get them your way? So you want to make it a daily routine. You want to check on your Facebook page if there's people asking questions, commenting. Maybe it's part of when you check your emails or your office manager does it. You want to get engagement, interaction, and be really exposed and consistently reviewing your marketing strategies. So you want to look at the potential options that are out there. Don't ever assume something's too expensive or it's not a good fit for you. Meet with people, learn about the different programs and platforms that are out there. You might be surprised there's something new that no midwife has used before, and it will make the most sense for your practice for the price point. And so just meet with people, learn about the different marketing tools that are out there. Pay attention to what other people are doing and what you like. Think about it. If you see another midwife practice, asking your friends and family, what do you think about my website? What do you think about this midwife's website? What do you like? What do you not like? All these things can have a ripple effect on how your practice will be successful, how much money you're going to make, how burnout you're going to be if you don't put the correct marketing campaigns in. If you don't get your ideal clients, you're going to spend a lot of time doing additional consults and conversations on the phone that you don't really want to do, talking about their traumatic birth stories, and they're never going to be able to see your practice because of their high-risk situation. You're going to be talking to a ton of people that are Medicaid, but then Medicaid doesn't pay for home births in your community, and you're only cash. So you want to really, really narrow down, be consistent, have a marketing plan, have a marketing budget. Think about where you want to go long term with your practice so that you can retain these amazing clients and you can attract the best to you. So please, please, please spend some time just thinking about your goals, where you want your practice to go, where is it currently at, how much money can you put to the side for marketing? Because if it gets you one extra client, your client for home birth is worth $4,000 to $6,000. Your client for the birth center is worth $6,000 to $10,000. How much money are you willing to invest to get that $4,000 to $10,000 return from one extra client? That's your ideal client. So I really, really want you to think about who should you have on your team, what are we going to do for marketing, and what mistakes can we avoid that other people are currently doing.